Trying to get me.
We here for a good time, not a long time.
Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Raven Roundup. Coming back off this victory, the Baltimore Ravens defeated the New York Giants by a score of 35-14. And I'm gonna be the first to say it kind of was a boring game. From the
In a
standpoint
good way.
right, in a good way. Boring in a good way. But Lamar did his thing, and we're gonna talk about it in a little bit. Bateman did his thing. We're gonna talk about that too. We still got some drama, and I pulled a bunch of numbers that we're gonna talk about as well. But before we get into that, how was you guys' weekend?
Pretty good.
Yeah, good.
Carolina didn't do the moral victory thing this weekend, but they got that L, which is the most important part. I didn't watch a whole lot of the Ravens game because I kind of knew how that was going down. But outside of that, things good. It's the holidays, man.
It is that. What about hey, shout out to B for gifting 10 subscriptions to and I'll tell you who he gave to because I'm not on the normal setup, so it ain't gonna pop up, but I'll let you know if you got one. And if you got one, you need to make sure to tell B thank you. Brandon E, Avril Diallo, Mark Anthony the Gamer, Goldman, Will G, the Conductor, Big Sosa, Trent TV, and Jay and Jax. You all were gifted memberships by Zelle. And so if you see him or you're here, please say thank you. Please say thank you because I got more content coming that way shortly. I actually was filming something for a minute ago when I let time get away from me. The camera's right to my right here. But I appreciate y'all for coming through. And we heard from B. Jose, what about yourself? Was it a driving weekend for you? You got to chill.
Yeah. It was a driving weekend, small long weekend. But got that win out the way early, got the stream a little bit, But like you said, it was a boring game, but it was a boring game in a good way. We handled business, we did what we were supposed to do. Nothing exciting, no drama, not at the time anyway. So
right.
Pretty good.
Gotcha. So how we gonna start this off today is I put up things saying if you had questions for the roundup to drop them here. We got 3 of them. If you put it after now, it won't get answered. We're gonna answer the 3 that we got, and then we're gonna go and get into some reactions from stuff that went on yesterday and that was said today as well. All right, let me share my screen here again. All right, so first question is from B Cam. It says, Coach, are you worried about Trenton Simpson going forward? He's getting less snaps and seems to take bad angles. Maybe he can be used like Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith is the defensive end for Philadelphia. I'll let you guys start with it, and I'll take the rear on this one.
What do you ask what we're worried about?
Trenton Simpson going forward. He says he seems to be getting less snaps and seems to be taking bad angles, and he was wondering if he can be used like Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith is the fast edge rusher from the Eagles that played at Georgia. I think he ran like a 4.3 or maybe a 4.4 at the combine or something like that.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm not worried about him. It's his first year starting, and it's a position where if he doesn't work out, we can replace him. But I don't think he's done bad overall. The less snaps thing. I mean, we'll see what that's about. Is it progression? Is it how this team, like we don't like to report injuries. So if he's favoring something, that's not going to get reported. And that could be the reason why he's not getting as many snaps. Who knows? But overall, the defense has been playing better. I know they've been playing lesser competition, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I don't think there's any cause for concern moving forward. I think that once we hit February and March, and everything shifts to 100% draft coverage. There's so many people producing content 24/7. Everybody's on social media all the time. Everybody's, kind of doing their mock drafts, looking ahead to see, oh man, this prospect's great. Hey, I love this sleeper, blah, blah, blah. And then we kind of get conditioned to expect too much from young players. You expect rookies to come in, even if they're in the 5th round, and make a big impact. And even Trenton Simpson, who's in his 2nd year, he sat, he's playing for the first time, and it's just what is it?
Be firing off them shots, subliminals.
But we expect too much out of players without letting them really develop and kind of grow into the player that they're going to be. I think he's just still, he's in that process. And obviously you'd like to see him kind of get those snaps and just take control of it and just be shot out of a cannon. But I mean, it usually doesn't go that way. So he'll be back. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
And what I think about him is I think he maybe hit the wall. He was playing well and got to the point in the season where it might have just his play and fell off because he hadn't had to play that many games. And not questioning his stamina, but it's just the fact that you got to be locked in. You got to be a certain kind of way. Got to have a certain mindset week in, week out to be in the NFL. And like I was watching some stuff today, and it looks like communication between him and Rowe, but it looks more like a Rowe telling, hey, you need to get over here and be the it's more so Rowe making sure he knows where he's supposed to be instead of, them communicating on maybe like some motion or they see something in the backfield, say, hey, check, alert, whatever. It looks more like Rowe telling him, hey, you got B gap, make sure you be there or come on, slide over when it ain't the same kind of communication to me.
Right.
It ain't more communication like if I'm the safety and Jose, you the corner, I'm relaying cover 3 to you. It ain't that kind of communication. Right. It's, hey, you got deep thirds or hey, you got flats. It's
you
like
telling him where he needs to be instead of like we on the same page type of thing.
Right. And that worries me. That worries me because he was the number 3 linebacker last year. Now he moved up to number 2. Now he's pretty much led 2. I don't want to disrespect them, but 2 guys that really wasn't expecting much out of to take snaps from him.
Yeah.
And Boyd was pretty much a special team, correct?
Yeah.
And then Malik last year was pretty much an edge guy.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
But I'm not worried about it this year. I mean, they're giving him a shot. And if it doesn't work out, then next year, like if he goes out there next year and he's still having these issues, then I'm gonna worry because why didn't you have any contingency plan, in case he doesn't work out, All
right. The second question is from Rave Kingdom, and this is gonna be a little bit of comic relief. He says, let me take this down. He says, what is the roundtable possible reason for Ben Cleveland in the doghouse? And he said, and how did you feel about Ben Cleveland getting a chance to play, but ends up playing center, aka hiding guard snaps from him? I need each person answer on a roundtable. Hashtag Ben Cleveland.
Well, thanks to Rave Kingdom, I think that's the reason why Ben Cleveland got in the game, isn't it?
Might be.
He might
have led the charge.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I mean, that's how Harbaugh is. He's just petty like that. And I think he does that to the detriment of the team sometimes. He holds these personal beefs and he wants to prove a point that if you don't approach the game a certain way, then you're not going to play for the Ravens. You're not going to get out on the field. And despite the fact that the better talent might be sitting the bench, he doesn't care about that. And I think that's a major flaw of his because this is not high school. This is not college. This is the NFL. The best talent needs to play. You don't always have to like how they approach the game. You don't always have to like the attitude, but you are a professional and you got to show up and go to work and work with your peers. So,
yeah, I mean, I hate to think it's still just the conditioning stuff. Like it has to be something else, right? It has to be at this point. But as far as him actually getting into the game and playing at center, I think it's what Jose said. It's Harbaugh being petty. Because Harbaugh hears people screaming for Ben Cleveland. He knows that people want Ben Cleveland in the lineup, and he's like, "Here, you asked for it, you got it. Shut up."
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly how I felt.
Yeah.
So yeah,
here you go, Rave Kingdom.
I cannot imagine it's still just him failing conditioning tests. He has to have a personal problem with him.
I think the personal problem is he does not like Rave Kingdom. Harbaugh, that is. Come hell or high water, he is not gonna let Rave Kingdom be right. That's what it is. Rave Kingdom is the gift and the curse of being Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. That's
I
right.
still can't believe they kicked that man out twice. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he said he got booted. I think he said he got booted. I think. Let me know if did they boot you for real, or like completely, Rave Kingdom. Let me know. All right, and this third one is from a avatar that I haven't noticed before. It says, what do you think the reason for Brandon Stevens and Marcus Williams' regression is? That's a good one.
Go ahead, B.
Marcus Williams, I think he's just part of it is Mike McDonald leaving. Part for Marcus Williams, I think he's an older guy a little bit. Not that he's old, but he's a little bit older, and he's probably just on the back end of it. You kind of picked him up well into what would be his prime, and he's probably just coming out of it now. Brandon Stevens, I think that, again, part of it is Mike McDonald, and part of it is he's not experienced as a corner. And I think these are just kind of the ups and downs of him learning how to play the position on a full-time basis. I mean, even in his first couple of years in Baltimore, they didn't allow him to play corner fully. They moved him around a lot. So he doesn't have much experience doing it, and you're just seeing the natural up and downs. He's a talented guy, but you gotta be in that position and stick and learn it and learn the intricacies in order to just be out there consistently playing at a high level.
True.
Yeah, no, I mean, pretty much what B said. I think with Marcus Williams, I think it's a personality thing. Like they kind of alluded to that, like why he wasn't playing. Maybe he's now okay with the direction that the defense is going in, or coaching staff or whatnot. Like, I kind of get that feeling of why he's not out there, because even like when they were all playing bad, Marcus Williams is still better than having Eddie Jackson out there, but they'd rather have Eddie Jackson out there. So I think it's an attitude thing. I'm not saying necessarily he has a bad attitude. I think he's just, he's not buying in to the direction the team's going in. So that factors into just the loss of snaps for him being deactivated and whatnot. And Brandon Stevens, like B said, I mean, you drafted a guy that was raw in talent and or raw in skills, and he needs some time to develop. And I don't think he's playing bad overall. It's just that we set these high expectations on guys that you shouldn't set high expectations on. If you want a lockdown corner, you have to go and get a lockdown corner. I think Brandon Stevens is a solid starter in the league. I don't think he's played that bad.
We got one.
Yeah.
He's just a rookie. He's just a rookie.
And you gotta let him go through the process, right?
Yep. And I ain't saying he'll go out there and shut Justin Jefferson down. Just potentially we have one. I put it like that because that's kind of jumping the gun right there. Potentially we have one. Potentially. In Nate. No, I'm talking about Nate, not Brandon Stevens, people. All right, so let's get into some of the things I got, and I got them bookmarked from my Twitter. The first one is going to kind of talk about something that we've already mentioned a little bit. It's Trenton Simpson only playing 5 snaps. Like, he went from maybe 90-something% of the snaps maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago down to 5 total snaps. All pretty much were in garbage time. So just to kind of go over that question a little bit, is Board and Malik truly a better option at the other inside linebacker?
Probably at this point, because they have a better handle on things. They're more experienced, and we're getting to the point where we need a defense. We need guys out there that can play more disciplined football, right? That know their assignments, that know where they're going to be. They don't have to be playmakers, but they're not going to miss a play, right? They're not going to be out of position. I think that's what they're worried about at this point. Yeah, those guys will give you the better option with that.
Obviously, they feel like they're better options, right? Whether, like I said, it's just kind of them knowing where they need to be more consistently. Like I said, maybe he's hit the wall, and maybe he's just kind of spiraling a little bit, right? Like, the play starts to slip. He's not 100% sure where he's supposed to be all the time. Roquan getting in him, before every snap, and maybe it's all kind of getting to him a little bit, and they're pulling him and just saying, hey, you know what, sit on the sidelines for a game or two, take a breath, get yourself together, watch the game from the sideline, and we'll get you back in there and get you calmed down and get you back to where you were earlier in the season.
And that's basically what John said today. I don't know. Like I said, we don't know how much of what he say is legit or BS, but what you said is pretty much what he said, and kind of the same thing he said about Keith Mitchell the week before. Like, just give him a break, let him sit back and adjust to whatever.
From what for Keaton?
From fair catching kicks. I don't know, fair catching kicks, but I can just say what the man said. Man. Yeah, that's all. Next up, let's get into some of the play for Lamar. This is his passing chart from this week. Only had 4 incompletions. Correct me if I'm wrong. 21 of 25.
Yeah,
with 290, 5 touchdowns, and this is like his. I want to say his hot chart because he was hot every darn well. But we're gonna stick to the intermediate and the deep outside the numbers, because that's where we all felt like he could improve or needed to improve, or that was like the only zones he was not good in. So yesterday, just yesterday only, out deep left, which is 20 yards or more, he was 1 for 1, 20 yards and a touchdown. Deep right, he was 2 for 2, 75 yards and a touchdown. I think the deep left one was Bateman. I think the deep right one was Tez Walker. Intermediate from 10 to 15 outside, 1 for 1, 15 yards, and on the right side, 1 for 2 for 10 yards. So overall, on those problem areas from last year, he was 2 for 2, 4 for 4, 5 for 6 in those problem areas. How much have you noticed Lamar's better play at throwing outside the numbers, deeper down the field?
For me, honestly, I think that I always looked at Lamar and said, I don't think he has a problem throwing outside the numbers and down the field. I think that the issue was you need 2 to tango, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you throw deep and the receiver has to be on the same page with you, and they didn't have receiving talent. They didn't have guys who would track the ball and go get the ball and make plays on the ball, which every quarterback needs, right? You can have the most accurate quarterback in the history of football, and if you throw it up there and it's somebody who can't track the ball, they're going to have a poor completion percentage throwing down the field. Now, I mean, certainly he's obviously gotten better every year that he's been playing, but I've always felt like that was the main issue, and that now they do have talent on the outside, and you're seeing that, and he's being more productive, hitting more of those things downfield. I mean, we saw even with Rashod Jackson, right, when he was there. Lamar would miss throws and everything when the normal receivers are out there, and then Deshaun would play his one play for the game, and he hit Deshaun 45 yards downfield in stride, no problem, right? Because that's where Deshaun made his living, and the other guys not so much.
Right?
Yeah. Also, little play calling, right? I think we've seen him make these type of plays earlier on with Hollywood Brown, right? It just wasn't often because that's not the type of offense that Gio was going to run, Now you can, it might be a mixture of he's not running that offense because they don't have the talent out there, or they don't have the talent out there because that's the type of offense that Gio runs. It's circular, but but there's a lot of things that factor into it. And yes, obviously he's improved all over. He looks great out there. He looks unstoppable. Every year you see him, it's amazing that he can get that much better. But I think there's a lot of things that factored into why he wasn't making those plays consistently overall early on. But it's not just on him. A lot that had to do with talent and coaching.
And speaking of, we were talking about talent outside. This is Bateman's average depth of target. He had 5 targets. 3 of them which were deep, which would be in that 20-plus yard range. So looking for a guy to stretch the field and being a guy that can potentially open up the middle of the field and underneath. Because honestly, that stuff is still hard for Lamar to fill in because we really until yesterday didn't have anybody really stretching the field. But Bateman deep left, which was one of those trouble areas for Lamar, 20-yard catch for Bateman, a touchdown. Deep center, he missed him on that one, and then deep right, he was one of one. I'm not saying one of two maybe with the other touchdown. So he hit Bateman on 2 deep passes for touchdowns, and also had the one to Ted's too that's not featured up here. But this is Bateman's average depth of target, and it's finally getting to a point where he's a little bit more than serviceable. Do you think we can count on him going down the stretch?
Bateman?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, wait, like when you say count on him, like what do we mean by count on him?
I mean, be dependable. And not saying he catch every ball, but I mean, if he get 7 targets, he catch 5.
Yeah, like Malik B says, wide receiver 1. No, I don't think he's a wide receiver 1. But yes, I think he can maintain this level of consistency, just being solid out there, getting separation and making those catches. Yeah, I think he can do that.
I'm gonna say yeah. It's tough with a lot of the receivers in Baltimore. Like, you ask this question about Mark Andrews, I say no, right? You ask this question about Isaiah Likely, I probably at this point say no. But I think that we all always thought that Rashod was talented, and for whatever reason just wasn't clicking. But he seems to be in a good place now. He seems to kind of settled into that number 2 role, and he's playing well this season. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes. They can count. They'll be able to count on him, and he won't be the Seth Roberts come playoff time.
They call him Seth Roberts.
No, I said he won't be. He won't be Seth Roberts.
He won't be the Seth Roberts.
Got you. I think his route running has still been on display this year, especially with these 2 touchdowns Sunday. But I think the fact that they've made him higher in the progression really helps him out, because he's not a off script type of person. Him being like the number 1 read and some time and stuff, that really helps him out, really helps him get confidence, because he ain't good at that backyard stuff. It's like he don't know what to do. Like he's just stuck in quicksand when Lamar got the pocket. Every now and then he'll just turn and run somewhere and be open, but for the most part, he's not good at that. But that you be at point A in 2.3 seconds and the ball will be there, he can do that.
Yeah,
he can do that.
Well, thank God for that.
That's a big part of it.
That's it almost entirely.
Pressure's allowed. We're gonna switch. We're gonna bounce around a little bit too, but this pressure's allowed from the offensive line, and this is from a team that didn't have Dexter Lawrence. Really got a average Kayvon Thibodeau. And I'll let B describe what Burns is now, because I don't want to be disrespectful to the Panther legend.
He's still solid.
Yeah, he's a good pass rusher. I mean, that was his 8th sack this year that he picked up.
Yeah.
What was that dance? That was terrible.
No.
I didn't see the dance, so I'm not.
That was horrible.
I didn't get the reference, but
that celebration was almost worse than Bateman trying to throw the ball, and John Simpson caught it last year. It was worse than that.
He wasn't doing the Spider-Man anymore.
Nah, he did some kind of pump thrust, something that was weird.
That's a great description. That's exactly what it was. Yeah,
a weird pump thrust something. All right, no, but he's a good solid pass rusher. He's not the great player that we always kind of hoped he would turn into. But the Kayvon Thibodeau, I think, is an above-average player. He's been hit with injuries this year, but I mean, he's coming off an 11.5 sack season last year as well. Not having Dexter Lawrence is a killer, especially against a team kind of soft in the middle. I think that's fair.
Where I'm going.
Yeah. So I think that really hurts. But they have good pass rushers. They have a lot of good pass rushers. They have a lot of depth in that front 7. So I mean, Daniel Falalele giving up 2 pressures, man. Shout out to him. Okay.
that's honestly, no troll. This might have been his best game, and it still wasn't very good looking. But this might have been his best game.
Okay, I mean, we don't need to throw the shade with the compliments.
That's 70-something grade, but looking at it by the eye, he still was missing stuff.
Okay, well, I mean, Coach, a 70 is a C. It's not an A plus. Like, yes, there's
somebody said C's get degrees. That's what somebody said. Not in my household. Black wasn't going for that.
Wow. Mm-hmm. You better hope that's what it is, because otherwise, ain't no rings coming back to Baltimore. Like, I think y'all can throw in the towel on this Ben Cleveland thing. It ain't happening this year.
It ain't right. Ben won't be in a significant Baltimore game unless somebody gets hurt. Like seriously, that train. If it was going to ever happen, this bye week it would have happened, and it didn't. So, like, actually, Rave can even stop typing Ben Cleveland because he will never see the field again. Diontae Johnson might get on the field for Ben Cleveland.
Oh, what's up with them not releasing him, just sending him home? Like, I don't like that.
We can go ahead and get into it. That's like I don't know what is going on with that. That's a weird thing because everything was seeming like he was gonna come back. You know, he took his punishment, he was gonna come back, and they was gonna try to maybe, you know, I ain't gonna say just go out there and give him 15 targets, but at least give him something. That's what I was thinking. And because they said they was gonna welcome him back. Because it definitely wasn't anything like the San Francisco thing.
The NFL Players Union is worthless. Absolutely worthless. So you got two teams right now at the minimum, you know, two teams that we know about because they did it publicly, who say, you know what, we don't want this guy, but we're gonna sit him down so he doesn't get to play anywhere else. Mm-hmm. And in the case of Diontae Johnson, I mean, in the case of both of them, really, you are the
49ers or the Dolphins?
Yeah, the 49ers and the Ravens.
Well, you know, the Dolphins did it too when old boy wanted to come out of retirement.
Who?
One of their edge guys wanted to come out of retirement, and the Dolphins was like, "Nah, you gonna play with us, or you ain't getting released." And so he stayed retired. But it was some edge guy that they signed, maybe from play for Tampa Bay, maybe.
That understands, like, hey, you're under contract. We want you to play for
Shaq Barrett. That's what it was. Shaq Barrett.
Oh, Shaq Barrett. Yeah. Oh yeah, he played for Tampa. Yes, I understand that, but having a guy that you have no intentions of playing, you know, and you just want to hold on to him just to punish him. It's not a, hey, we want you to play for us and not somebody else. We just don't want you playing, and we don't want you playing anywhere else because we don't like the way you did us. That's exactly what San Francisco is doing with Devondre Campbell. Mm-hmm. And I understand being angry at him, but let him go. Like, you know, be a professional. If somebody else wants to pick him up, let them pick him up. You obviously don't want to have anything to do with them. I wouldn't want to have anything to do with them.
And you got your star back.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, and Diontae Johnson, you don't want to have anything to do with him. Like, you brought him in here, I would say in bad faith, to be honest. You don't bring somebody in here like that just to be a practice guy. That was bad faith, and he has a right to be mad. Mm-hmm. I don't like the fact that he didn't want to go in the game.
Killing his value.
Yeah. I don't like the fact that he didn't go in the game, but, you know, that wasn't as egregious as Devondre Campbell. That was more garbage time for Diontae Johnson. Yeah. But still, you don't have any real plans for him. Just cut him, let him go. This whole he can sit out practice this week. Nah, if you plan on using him, he needs to ramp it up now.
Right. So to me, like, and I came to this while you were talking. They don't plan because why? So you're gonna give them a week to ramp up after sitting for 2 weeks, and then maybe be ready the 18th game. No, they're not going. They're not. And 2 and 2 became 4 as you was talking. They not gonna use that, man.
The arrogance of saying we don't need you, Diontae. We good with Nelson and Tyler.
Yeah.
Don't do that. They didn't. they didn't even guard that man. And congrats to Tez. I mean, that's great for him to get that.
It was a good catch. Got both feet into
and get the touchdown. That's awesome for him. But they were playing 11 on 10.
Way off. Way off. Did y'all see my short about that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I just put the my reaction with the actual play in the game and made a short out of it. But I thought it was funny.
It honestly reminded me of your boy, James Prochet. That game when Denver didn't cover him.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody was
catches,
like,
baby, career high.
See, he can play. I'm like, yeah.
Inactive.
when nobody covers you.
Inactive the next week.
if nobody covered me and providing the O-line held up, I could get 30 yards downfield and catch the ball. Like nobody's trying to stop you.
Hey, like I said, he went out there and the people were like, who this guy? We ain't worried about him. I ain't never seen 81 on tape. They're not throwing him.
But you know,
right.
I knew he was going to at least get in the game after he made that tackle on special teams. You see, he made that one-arm tackle.
Heck of a tackle.
Yeah.
Heck of a tackle. And you know, John love people that go hard on his thing, special team. Like, don't get me started on that fella. That fella. But I don't, like I said, to wrap it up, I don't know what they're doing with Diontae, and I think it's bad on both ends. Like he messed up not going to the game, even though it was a jacked up situation. But now they're just gonna use it. They're gonna use it as leverage.
Yeah.
All right. Next, talking about Malik Nabers. So we know Malik Nabers is a extremely talented wide receiver. Top 8 pick, maybe something like that for the Giants. But definitely one of the first receivers drafted last year. He had 10 catches yesterday, which I don't remember 10, but he had 10 on 14 targets. And what I got up there now is like how the Ravens DBs did against Malik. So for those that can't see it, I read it. Malik Nabers was covered by Nate Wiggins for 4 targets. Malik had 1 catch, 9 yards. Kyle Hamilton, he had 1 target, 1 catch for 5 yards. Brandon Stevens, 2 targets, 2 catches for 19 yards. Desmond King, 3 catches on 4 targets for 28 yards. And then Marlon Humphrey, he was 3 for 3 with 20 yards. So the only person that can say they even held a candle to Malik Nabers is Nate Wiggins. And that's rookie on rookie. So what do you think about Nate Wiggins and his defense of Malik Nabers Sunday?
It's just the numbers game there. Like he had 14 targets. Some of them were going to go bad. And it happened to be on Nate. I bet if they played the game again, it wouldn't look that way. I imagine it would look that way.
It would look better for Malik, or
it would look like, hey, 4 targets with Nate Wiggins covered of 3 catches, 35 yards, something like that. You know, like it wouldn't look like that. It wouldn't look like, hey, I'm the only one who can cover you, because
we got a dog at corner B. I ain't even let you do him like that.
We got a dog at corner. You got a little puppy at corner.
We got a dog at corner
with his 160-pound frame. Get hurt every time he touched somebody.
We got a dog at corner.
All right.
Bite your
I'll tell you what.
off.
I bet you Malik Nabers throw a stiff arm. You won't see Nate Wiggins again.
And I bet you Lamar throw one too. You won't see somebody again. You still form Nate Lamar come with his own.
Yeah, no, I think Nate Wiggins isn't going to just let him go off like that. And you know, to his credit, when if he's getting beat, he's going to hold. He'll do those veteran moves like I'm not gonna I'll get this pass interference, whatever. I'm not going to just let you get a open touchdown on me. Like he's going to make you work for it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and Malik is like B said. I agree with part of what B said. I believe they would go back and forth, and if I had to say which one is better, like right now, Malik is probably better than Wiggins, but you can only go by what the numbers say. The numbers say 1 for 4, 25%, 9 yards. The numbers don't lie.
They do, all the time.
Well, these don't, but some do. Some do. And let's scroll down to total pressures, and these are pressures that our defensive line got versus the Giants. Michael Pierce, who's, and I ain't want to talk too much because I ain't no small fella, but his stomach was bothering me yesterday. I was like, Pierce wasn't this big.
Hey, listen, it was bothering that O-line too from the list of that list.
It was. He got 3 pressures. Owe got 2. Matabike got 2. Harrison got 2. Van Noy got 2. Hamilton 1. Ojabo 1. Travis Jones 1. Roquan 1. And say show more, but Desmond King 1 and Marlon 1. So those are all our pressures from yesterday. It's a bunch. 1 is 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17 pressures. 17 pressures.
Look at Ojabo getting in the game.
It's good for him to get something on film before he gets cut.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, he had a sack too. I think he had a sack. Yeah, he did. Ojabo did have a sack. Ojabo had a sack. Malik had a sack, and Van Noy had a sack.
See that? All he needs is opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's 1 out of 100 plays, probably. That's probably the first pressure and sack he had since Methuselah was born. Old people know who I'm talking about.
You frozen.
What I'm talking about. Huh?
I'm frozen.
Yeah, your video's frozen.
Yeah, it keeps. Yeah, it's going. Yeah, that's my software.
Oh, you're back. There you go. You're back. You're back.
I'm here. I'm here.
Moving on to the next one. I don't know why I keep starting me over every time. Y'all know I have this agenda about outside zone over stretch and outside zone over counter and power. And these numbers right here will let you know like why I say what I say. Left end means the ball was ran to the outside around the left end, outside the tackle somewhere. And that's what right end means, to outside the tackle to the right or whatever. We got 82 yards on 14 plays from that. 82 on 14 plays. Why isn't? And then we take out the quarterback scramble. So that's another that's 103 yards. If you take out the runs outside and the quarterback scramble, so you got 63 yards running the other stuff. Why do we continue to run counter and power when we don't have counter and power guards? You need guards and centers that can move people to run counter and power, because they got to move the man. They got to down block. Them down blockers have to move people so you can have room for the pullers to come across. Why do we continuously run counter and power?
You have a poor coaching staff.
Yeah,
is what they do. I always say on our show that like being a great coach compared to playing the piano, right? Like, or any instrument. Mm-hmm. If you have somebody that teaches you a song, you can play that song, and you're gonna go wherever you go, and that's the song you're gonna play because that's what you know. Whereas if you learn how to play the piano, you play whatever you want, right? And the NFL is filled with guys who learned a song or two and can adjust to the talent that they have on their roster, right? Whereas
not a song or two,
and
the song passed down from generation to generation,
right? They have what they want to run, what they like to run, what they know how to run, and that's what they're going to run regardless. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to look at the player and be like, "Why can't you run what I'm running? Get off the field."
Yeah. You don't know this song?
Instead of doing what's best for the player.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, I posted a clip about Falele not getting to a linebacker on the second level. Now, at this point in the season, we all know that Falele can't make that block. My thing is, why is he getting put in position to have to attempt that block? Because if you watch a lick of film, you know Falele can't get to the second level on a backer, on a play away from him. So why? That's what I'm saying. We put in like, and I know he's not very good, but when you're trying to hide him, you can't do that, because on the play in question, he couldn't get to Michael McFadden. Soon as I want to say it was Justice Hill, got ready to cut it up. Because it was a hole on the front side, but because Falele didn't get McFadden, he was right there looking Justice Hill in the face, and he had to try to bounce it. I think he may have got 2 yards from what could have been probably a touchdown if Falele had the angles and the footwork, the foot speed to get to cut McFadden off.
First off, Michael McFadden is an outstanding player. He scored me a lot.
I love him.
A lot of points in this game. He's getting me to the next round of our fantasy football playoffs. Thank you very much, Micah. Second of all, listen, ain't nothing wrong with Daniel Falele. Again, this is a coaching and scouting problem. Daniel Falele does what Daniel Falele do. All right. Now, if you take Daniel Falele knowing what he do and you say do something else, what are you expecting? Right? He stands where he stands and he surveys the field. And anybody that comes within his orbit is getting blocked. If you're not in his orbit, you ain't his problem.
You know what I just thought about, B? Have you seen the Lil Kim dance when she be? That's Falele. He go past people. He just started doing a Lil Kim dance. Nobody out here. BFN, right? Big. No, he said a bunch of nothing, but BFN is big for nothing. Big for nothing. Our receivers got fairly busy yesterday. In my opinion, with 4 incompletions, and I don't think we had a drop. I don't think. But this is what the receivers did versus the defenders for the Giants. Michael McFadden, the guy that me and B just mentioned, and that kid is an outstanding player. That's the kid that I had a separate video just to talk about Michael McFadden in a preview, but I just didn't get to it. That kid is awesome to me. To me. And I don't know if it's because there ain't very many playmakers over there, and he's doing that without Dexter Lawrence in front of him. But I really like McFadden a lot. He just, I'm glad they lost, but I like McFadden. Against McFadden, 4 for 4. Against Adoree Jackson, 1 for 2. Dane Belton, 2 for 3. And see, this is why I don't buy into receivers having a great day. How many of these names do you know when I finish reading them off? I do know Adoree Jackson came from USC. Dane Belton, I don't know. Darius Musasu, or however you say that, Musau, never heard of him. Greg Stroman. I know Marcus Stroman, the pitcher. I don't know Greg Stroman.
I know Isaiah Simmons.
Oh, I ain't got that far. I know them too. Art Green, is that Danny Green's son or something? And Isaiah Simmons, we know Isaiah Simmons, high draft pick that just can't get right. And Jason Pinnock.
Nope.
Yeah, no, it's a bad defense. So it's a bad team all the way around. So and that's what Bills fans are out there saying, calm down, your 5 touchdowns don't count. It was the Giants.
Well, they were the same ones saying that because we were winning games is the only reason Lamar got MVP.
But hold on. Weren't they throwing against the Lions like third string corners last night? Didn't the 2 starters get hurt?
I don't want to talk about all of the season-ending injuries that Detroit has.
Lions got like 13 season-ending injuries.
Yeah,
they had
3 more last night too.
2 of the starters went out, and didn't their tackle get hurt?
Yep.
McNeil. Yep.
McNeil. Yeah, I mean, and they still almost lost.
Yeah, and that was a great segue too, man. Because look what's next. Great segue. I don't know how you knew what was next, but this is putting all 3 guys that are having monster years side by side. Now I stuck Joe Burrow in there because of numbers wise. He's not winning games, but I put it up there for the argument that people like last year they said because he was only winning MVP because we went on that hot streak at the end and say Josh had better numbers. But this year, Josh and them, they kicking butt now. I will say that, and Josh put them numbers. But when you look at them side by side, is win games a thing for the MVP, or is it numbers?
No, they're not winning games like that. The difference is when everybody made that argument for Lamar, because Josh did have better numbers, and he wasn't the only one. I think there were a few guys who had better numbers than Lamar last year. But Lamar won MVP because Lamar was playing his best against the best teams in the NFL. They played a lot of top teams, and they beat almost all of them. And
San Francisco, Miami, and somebody else.
They beat Detroit, and there was a few others, just in terms of teams that made the playoffs and had winning records and everything like that. And they dominated those teams, right? Josh Allen's 3-3 against winning teams.
And look at his division this year. Why they talking about us with the Giants,
right? And he had 6 touchdowns last week, 5 or 6 this week, and he still has fewer touchdowns than Lamar.
Right.
Total.
Well, there's a question, right? Like we talking about quality of opponents, like B said,
second hardest schedule for Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously beating the Chiefs and beating the Lions are big for Josh Allen, but looking at the whole season and quality of wins, Lamar has more though.
Yep, I would think so.
And you played Baltimore head to head. You got smacked, and you didn't play well. He didn't score in that game.
Facts.
Right.
That should matter too. To me, that should matter too. So they just keep moving the goalposts to try to put Josh Allen in focus. Wherever they just put it, they'll move it out the way for Lamar. But for Josh Allen, they'll put it right there. Because if we're going to say numbers, I need y'all to talk about Joe Burrow too. If it's just numbers.
Right. But here is the thing, because it's most valuable, right? He's not kind of value as he provided to Cincinnati right now. You 6-8. But no, but you're right. If they had they won, let's say their last two, and they got hot at the end of the season, yeah, he absolutely is in that argument because he's playing phenomenally well. Josh Allen is having a fantastic season. He's playing great. But the argument that gave Lamar the MVP last year doesn't apply to Josh Allen this year. And Lamar is better than Josh Allen this year in every category, essentially, except for rushing touchdowns.
That's it. Yep. That's it. So that's what I'm saying. Is if the argument is wins, you didn't take that argument last year. And so if the argument is numbers, he don't have the best numbers this year. So whichever argument they take, I feel like Lamar got him. Now, granted, they kicking butt right now, but pick one side or the other. Let the rules be the same for everybody.
Because
because the thing with the thing with Lamar last year, like it wasn't just that they got hot. They got hot against all the top teams that had MVP candidates, right? When it was clear that Brock Purdy was the MVP. We went into that house and dominated them on Christmas Day. When it was Tua's in the mix, we went in there and dropped almost 50 on them, right? Like it was specific games where the people that were in the conversation got rolled, right? So that really catapulted Lamar for MVP because it's like, all right, well, the guys that we're putting up there, and those teams are favored to win. They're on prime time, and you're facing Lamar, and it's just. It's hard to vote against him when you see what he's doing out there, right? Josh Allen didn't do that, or he's not doing that right now. If had they went in there and did to us what we did to them, it'd be harder to argue for Lamar, but it didn't go down that way.
No.
Speaking of Lamar, in week 15, and we talked about his throws down the field. It's 10 yards or plus. He was 7 for 9. 155 yards, 4 touchdowns. So PFF throws stats out here like this every week. 1 week he'll be 7 for 9 for 10 yards and 3 touchdowns versus the blitz. Then he'll be 8 for 10 when pressured. So every week they come out, they have something to say, to show how much better he's gotten under pressure. So with that being said, and he's already won 2 MVPs. I think, and I want to know if you guys think the same, this is by far his most complete season.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
This is the best he's ever played. He's going to surpass the numbers from his first MVP season, which were ridiculous, with 36 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. I mean, now, granted, he's had passes that could have been intercepted that got dropped. But in terms of the actual interceptions, none of them were on him.
Right.
So no, it's an unbelievable season, and it's going to be interesting to see the voters, because they are going to give Josh Allen MVP. So it's going to be interesting. What's up, Chris?
What's going on, fellas?
It's going to be interesting to see them argue that Lamar doesn't deserve the MVP when he has much better numbers than the last 2 times you gave him MVP nearly unanimously.
Exactly. Now let me see where this gonna fit with Chris. Let me try something real quick.
I'm looking at Josh Allen's games right now. Like his best games, at least when he threw the most touchdowns, against Jacksonville, 47-10, 263 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Against Miami, 30-27, 235 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Against the Rams, 342 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. They lost that game. In Detroit, 362 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, we talking about quality of opponents. Like those are your top games where you're really putting your skills on display. I only bring it up because people are going to dismiss what Lamar did against the Giants, but some of Lamar's or some of Allen's best games are against bad teams.
Yeah, most of this season. But Chris, what we were talking about is how good Lamar's been, in comparison to the Bills Mafia narrative that Josh is running away with the MVP. That's kind of what we were wrapping that up. What do you think about that? Because I think they're delusional, but what you think?
I mean, I don't know why people talking like it's wrapped up already. Like there's not, games still left, like important games left.
Mm-hmm.
It's people like to anoint like, oh, this guy's the MVP right now. Oh, this guy's the MVP. Like there's still a few games left. Like, Lamar could go off. I don't know why people are talking like it's wrapped up. So I don't think it's like a slam dunk right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I saw correctly that Josh Allen is like the favorite right now, but that could change. Like he could have one of his 3 interception games and go full on Will Levis.
Right. Hey, this clip right here is John Harbaugh talking about the rookies playing and how he thinks they're doing a great job. Let's take a quick listen and get a reaction. I'll just check
Great
the time.
point. For those
Can y'all hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
guys get a chance to play as much as they did in the fourth quarter, and even guys who played throughout the course of the game, like Tej, he played here and there the whole game, played on special teams. They all played well. I mean, that was great to see. It just appreciated seeing that. I think this rookie class is a really good class. I think it's got a great future, and they're already contributing.
So with that being said, I have a major announcement. Do not associate my name with James Prochet anymore. Associate it with Tez Walker. James Prochet, who? Associate Tez Walker is my Tylen Wallace to Chris.
Well,
I mean,
he ran
Tylen,
that straight line and caught a pass that happened to be
Tez
him.
Walker Truther.
Hey. Tez Walker season. That's what I
mean,
changed my name to it. Tez Walker season.
you going crazy now. I gave birth to Tylen.
Hey, the adoption papers in the living room. But yeah, what do you guys think about the rookie contribution? And I want to be clear. It's Voorhees, it's Rosengarten, it's Nate Wiggins, and then Tez has only had one play. So if you want to mention Tez, go ahead. But he's only had one play.
I mean, Voorhees ain't a rookie. You can't include him.
Who?
Voorhees.
He's
in his second year.
It's technically his first.
It's
no action last year.
No, but you still got the NFL coaching. You still got the NFL training that you don't get.
Yeah.
I don't know what John's talking about. Like half your rookie class don't even step on the field. So like Rosengarten, obviously is contributing quite a bit. That's great. Nate Wiggins is contributing. Adisa Isaac don't play. TJ Tampa don't play. Rasheen Ali don't play. Tez Walker don't play. Sumac don't play. Sanusi Kane don't really play.
He hurt.
But I mean, just throughout the year, whether it's been hurt or just healthy scratch, whatever. Like most of them don't play, which and that's fine on a team that wins a lot of games and expecting to challenge for a Super Bowl. But yeah, you're getting good contributions out of Rosengarten, good contributions from Nate Wiggins, but that's about it.
Right.
Yeah, I like what says. My bad, Jose. Don't hit me.
No, go ahead, Chris.
No, I like what Tez is doing on special teams too. Like, when we see these guys come along, it's like Justice Hill, Tylen Wallace. Like it usually starts with special teams, and just over the last few weeks, like I've seen him play his ass off on special teams. And I know people are like, oh, special teams, whatever, but look at the coach. Like that's how you're going to get playing time. You play special teams, and you're going to be the apple of his eye. And the fact that he's been doing his thing on special teams, and then he caught that touchdown. Hopefully he can get a few more looks, and we can kind of shift that Nelson Aguilar thing out of there, because obviously Tez, he gives you more upside and more threat vertically down the field than a Nelson Aguilar does.
What if you start to see those snaps coming from Tylen?
Still in the
like if Tez starts to get in the offense more, but at the expense of Tylen rather than Nelson. How you gonna feel about that?
I mean, in seriousness, like if you balling, go ahead. Go knock it out. And I think Tylen he's a free agent this year too. So
South Beach.
I think he's a free agent, so he's definitely gonna price himself out. He's gonna get like the Jamar Chase kind of contract or something like that. But I mean, it's somebody brought it up a couple of weeks ago too. Like the whole thing with starting Makari instead of starting Voorhees. It's like, why don't you just go? I mean, if Makari is struggling, why don't you just play Voorhees? Because at least you're building somewhat of a foundation for what you may have in the future, instead of a dude that's just gonna, be a free agent next year and who's playing like shit anyway.
Well, and you know what he is, and at least possibly there could be something more there with Voorhees
right
down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to see if Jose was gonna pop back in.
I thought I heard his disembodied voice for a second, but
no, because I interrupted him and he left. You see,
I'm trying to give him a second before I do this. But anyway, if he pop back in, I'll put him back in. This is we're gonna kind of wrap it up shortly after this. But Chris Canty, he was asked, did the AFC North open up for Baltimore? This was his reply, and I'll get everybody's reaction after this.
I think this Baltimore Ravens team is going to have something to say about who comes out of the AFC. Now, do I think the Baltimore Ravens can beat the Kansas City Chiefs? No, I don't. But do I think the Buffalo Bills can beat the Baltimore Ravens? I don't either. I think there are just bad matchups.
Wait. Stop. Wait. Say that again. So let's just make sure we hone in on this. What you just said is fascinating. So there's a three-way dance. Baltimore cannot win at Kansas City, but Buffalo can't win against Baltimore.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct. So I think that's the big three in the AFC that we're moving towards. It's the Baltimore Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Buffalo Bills. And I said this before the start of the season. If the Ravens are going to get to the Super Bowl, then somebody else is going to have to take out the trash for them. Somebody else.
All right. So what do you think about what Chris Canty had to say about the Baltimore chances of getting past KC and his route that he thinks they have to take?
He's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's likely or guaranteed that they will beat Kansas, but they can absolutely beat Kansas City. They can, especially with Lamar playing the way that he's been playing all year. And if they actually turn around and hand the ball to Derrick Henry, they can do it. Of course, they almost did it in Week 1 this year. He's right. I don't think Buffalo can beat Baltimore.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But
I don't think Buffalo has anything for us. The way the game went the first time, I know it was early in the season, but I don't see what they could do differently second time around. Like, yes, they have a high power offense. I mean, I'm not sure what happened.
We got a high power offense.
They couldn't score. Well, that's my whole thing. Like I think the way we score is different from how other teams score. Derrick Henry gets going early on. That's just something people that they show that they don't want to deal with, right? And their defense will check out if he gets going early on. And I don't think that'll change the next time we play them if we play them in the playoffs. So I feel good about playing Buffalo. Kansas City is always, gets me a little nervous just because, great quarterback, great coaching staff, like they know how to win those close games, but we're always in it.
Yep.
We can beat them. That's not in question. It's just a matter of are we going to finish it? So yeah, all these games are winnable for us. We just have to execute.
Chris, do you think Buffalo can beat Kansas City in the playoffs?
Yeah, they can. But if you're gonna line it up and I had to bet money, I would put it on Kansas City. Just because you got to take out the champ first before I could say you're gonna beat them.
Right.
And it's the same with the Ravens. It's sad to say, but I mean, I gotta say it too when it comes to the Steelers. The Ravens got to beat the Steelers. We've seen it too many times where they clearly have the better teams. I think on paper the Ravens had a better team than the Chiefs last year, but they just they turn into idiots when they play the Chiefs and the Steelers.
Exactly.
So they have to show me first before I could be like, oh yeah, I'm confident that they could beat the Steelers or the Chiefs. Like in my head, I'm like, yeah, this week, I'm like, yeah, I'm confident they could beat the Steelers, but at the end of the day, they gotta put it up and actually do it.
All right, and we'll close out with this right here. I want to show you one of the leading running backs in fantasy football this week. Y'all ready?
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Justice Hill was like a top 10 fantasy running back this weekend.
My man, Toucan Sam.
There we go.
But the stat says 447 yards after catch this season, second among all AFC running backs. You want to know why? Because we can finally run screens. It ain't like he running Texas routes or quick outs out the backfield. These are, I'd be willing to bet these are 90 to 95% screen yards. Because I don't see him running check routes. I barely see him getting checked down. I do see him get it checked down a little bit, but most of these yards I'd be willing to bet are screen yards. But go ahead.
I agree. The chemistry that him and Lamar have, because there's some tough passes that Lamar throws him, like some bullet passes, like Napoleon Dynamite's uncle, like where he just throws it at them weird angles, and Justice Hill's able to get them in close quarters. So those dudes they're in sync right now, and they kind of like have a good feel when Lamar gets in trouble too. Like Lamar knows where he's going to be. Justice Hill knows where Lamar wants to go with the ball. So that chemistry that they have is coming. It's coming in handy when you see those kind of yak numbers.
All right, this is it. Somebody say before you go, coach, is Justice Hill a top 5 receiving back in NFL? No.
He's been clutch for us though.
Let's everybody give one, and then we'll come together on another one to make sure he's not in the top 5. I go first. Alvin Kamara,
Chris
McCaffrey, Saquon,
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Damn, that's one I was gonna take. The boy from Minnesota, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones. Yeah, they were you 5 right there, and then probably A-Chain could be 6. Probably if I really thought about it, Eckler, even though he ain't playing right now, when he healthy, Eckler.
Shane
We said
Vereen.
Saquon already.
Yeah, we said Saquon. Who you said, Chris?
Shane Vereen.
Who?
You say Shane Green.
Theo
Shane
Riddick.
Vereen. I don't know Shane Vereen. Hey, what was number 1 for Kansas City last year?
Oh, Jerick McKinnon.
McKinnon with all the receiving yards, and now he don't have no job.
Me and McKinnon almost Eskimo brothers. Shout out to him.
Got it. Before we leave, Jose and B, let the people know what y'all got going on.
B, go ahead and take this. My program's kind of choppy.
All right. Well, yeah, you can find us over on Lunch Break Hot Take on Wednesday evenings at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, followed up by the Overtime Show. That's just for patrons. You can find us usually on Sundays after the Ravens and Panthers play, unless we can't make for whatever reason. But typically we stream every week after the games, and we're going to be releasing a lot more recorded content coming up here pretty soon. You can find me over on Suge Knight 323 on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for the Steel Conspiracy, talking Ravens, Steelers, and then for whatever reason Panthers. That is about it, though.
One more thing.
One
more thing. Ring Kings podcast is coming back this Saturday. And OTR Mike will be there as well.
That's how you know it's one night only. There is the rematch of the heavyweight championship, Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk on Saturday, December 21st. So we're going to be streaming allegedly after that, or if it's too late, maybe on Sunday because we are a little older, and these fights go real late. I don't appreciate that, but that's okay.
That's up here today.
That's up here
Endo ain't here. I'm the oldest today.
But yeah, we're gonna treat that as a one night only. Make sure you're there. You may never see it again.
Got it. I'm not gonna even ask Chris, but other than your normal gig, I'll see you Wednesday on Chalk Talk unless something pops off. So let's go ahead and put it out there. We will do this Wednesday. Obviously, next Wednesday is a no-go because we play next Wednesday. So not sure when that episode will pop up, especially with being out for Christmas.
It's also Christmas.
Is that the only reason?
Well, I'll be at the game, so that too.
Oh, you going?
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
but so we'll see where it's out. But this Wednesday may be the last Chalk Talk until the new year because I got to make Chris have his babies out. My baby's grown, so we're gonna work around the babies. But so that's what that is, and again, maybe there's a deep cover. Maybe she give me blink once. Shake.
I'm gonna do the Magic Johnson where he goes. Now we'll see. I'll talk to the fellas. We'll see.
But if it is out there, trust me, I'll promote it, and you guys will know as soon as I find it, and we'll go from there. But
I guess I should mention. I'm sorry, Coach.
No problem.
There is there won't be a live Wednesday show on Christmas, obviously, so there won't be the overtime show. There will be a recorded show, but we won't be there live.
What time you gonna drop it?
Same time, 7:15.
We're gonna try for 7:15. We're gonna try.
We had technical difficulties last time. I got out a little bit later, but 7:15 is the goal.
But that's in observance of the birth of myself as well as.
It's your birthday
on the 28th.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Well, it's me, Denzel, and Jesus. Like it's right there.
LeBron around there somewhere. LeBron, what, the 31st, something like that?
I don't know. Yeah, that's too far out, man. You can't.
That's
you
3
can't.
days later.
You can't be like circling everybody in. It's already that 4 day.
3 days later.
25th to the 28th. That's where it's at.
That's that money spot.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Understandable. Because I'm protective of my birthday too. Gotcha. I try to party the whole month. Well, I used to. Now I just try to party one day.
If he had gotten more than one ring in LA, then we could include him. But
that's cool. But on that note, with the shade from B to LeBron, we out, man. I appreciate y'all. I see y'all in the next one. Peace and love. Peace, y'all.
Peace.